UW360 is proudly supported by Pacific Office Automation, copy, print, workflow, and IT. Problem solved.
We have been seeing changes in water temperature, changes in air temperature. We don't quite know what the long-term trends are, but we do know things are changing.
The ocean is changing, and so are the animals and plants that live in it. Researchers and students at the University of Washington's Friday Harbor Laboratories are studying and documenting these ocean conditions, just as they have for more than a century.
We're out here at Cantilever Point. It's the open point, exposed point at Friday Harbor Labs. And this is where a lot of the monitoring happens.
Emily Carrington is a professor in the UW Department of Biology. Carrington's weather station gathers data about the temperature, wind velocity, and salinity at Friday Harbor.
So if we see a change in, say, the kelp population, we now have some background information on what the conditions were like maybe 8 years ago and what might be different about this year.
Carrington's work focuses on ocean acidification. She says Friday Harbor is an ideal location for that research because the water is naturally more acidic.
Scientists hope that by studying the water here in Friday Harbor, they'll be better able to understand how marine life in the ocean is affected by warmer, more acidic water.
So we might see the effects of ocean acidification here before we see it in other parts of the oceans. We're 100 years ahead of the curve, and that's not a place we would really like to be.
Indoors, one of the labs is filled with large coolers. They're mesocosms, enclosed systems where temperature, chemistry, and light can be controlled by graduate students like Molly Roberts.
I love the work setup. I love being able to look at the ocean and being at the lab at the same time.
When students come here, we really can teach them how to do science.
Director Billie Swalla says the labs have hosted hundreds of UW students and researchers from all over the world. The labs opened in 1904 after Trevor Kincaid, the university's only zoology professor at the time, convinced President Thomas Kane to open a marine lab. Kincaid picked the location in the San Juan Islands because he was impressed by the diversity of marine life. Its scenic location is a bonus.
There's this whole creativity that happens, I think, when you're in an area where it's a beautiful scenery, but also it's quiet. They can think, they can go take a walk, relax, come back, work.
We're here in Penn Cove on Whidbey Island. And
The work extends beyond Friday Harbor. Graduate student Laura Newcomb's research has taken her to Whidbey Island, where she's studying mussels at the Penn Cove Shellfish Company. As part of Professor Carrington's team, she's collecting data about the effect that changes in the water have on mussels' ability to cling to lines placed by growers.
And we have one at 7 meters, which is about the bottom of where the line is, so it kind of captures the conditions at the bottom of where mussels grow. And we have another one that sits closer to the surface to capture conditions at the top of where mussels grow.
Low pH in the water affects the glue that mussels make to attach to both rocks in nature and the aquaculture ropes out at the farm. And so if the pH drops too low, the mussels will literally tumble off these aquaculture ropes down to the seafloor, and they won't be harvestable.
Carrington and her team are trying to find answers that could help shellfish growers, other scientists, and everyone who benefits from the ocean. Swalla says that's all of us.
The covering of the earth is ocean, and there's so many important things that we get from the ocean that it's really critical to our survival.